ल यो चाहिँ मोडल सेट सहाराको सब इन्जिनियरको 157 को द मेथड अफ प्लेन टेबल क्यान बी युज वेन द एक्सटेन्ट अफ द एरिया इज लेस देन 260 किलोमिटर स्क्वायर एन्ड 250 छ त्यसलाई प्लेन टेबल सर्वे is suitable for the comparatively small area where the curvature of the earth is neglected. For the ordinary engineering survey, it is commonly used for the area is less than 260 kilometer square. 260 kilometer square. Direct ranging is possible only when the end station are mutually intervisible. Direct ranging is possible only when the two stations can be seen each others. If the end point are mutually intervisible, intermediate point can be fixed directly on the straight line. When the measure length is less than the actual length, the error is known as negative error. Measure length is less than actual length. Measure length is less than actual length, and the error is negative error. Measure length is less than actual length. एक्चुअल लेन्थ भन्दा चाहिँ मेजर लेन्थ लेस छ भने त्यो इरर भनेको नेगेटिभ इरर कसरी अरे when the measure length is smaller than the true or actual length, the error has negative, therefore it is called the negative error. The line joining the apex of the triangle to the some fixed point of the opposite side is called check line. A check line is the line joining the apex of the triangle to the fixed point of the opposite side. It is used to check accuracy of the plotted survey frame भनेको के अरे चेक लाइन भनेको चाहिँ एंगलको एपेक्सबाट अपोजिट तिरको साइडमा उभा गर्ने लिटरेट इज केमिकली क्लासिफाइड आर्जिसिलियस लिटरेटलाई हामी आर्जिसिलियस भन्छौँ lateral content high percentage of the clearly aluminous material due to this chemical composition LAT lateral is classified as an ARGILLACOUS आर्जिसिलियस रक भन्छ the most commonly used material for the dam proofing भनेको bitumen is widely used for the dam proofing because it is the waterproof durable adhesive. It prevents the moisture from the rising through the walls and the floor. Marble is an example of metamorphic rock. Marble is produced from the limestone by the action of the heat and pressure. Since it is formed by the metamorphism, marble भनेको metamorphic rock हो. Good building stone is one which does not absorb more than 5%. Good building stone is absorb very little water, otherwise it become weak and less durable. Generally, water absorption should not exceed about the 5%. And rejected greater than 10%. The specific gravity of the stone should not be less than 2.5. A good stone should have dense, strong, and durable. For the reason specific gravity of the stone should not be less than 2.5. Hooke's law hold good up to elastic limit. Hooke's law is valid only within the elastic range of the material. Of the elastic point, stress is directly proportional to strain. The ratio of the linear strain to the linear strain भनेको modulus of elasticity. The ratio of the normal linear strain to the linear stress is known as the modulus of elasticity. It indicates the stiffness of the material. Resilience भनेको के हो resilience भनेको resilience is the strain energy stored within the body within the elastic limit. The strain energy stored in the body within the elastic limit. When the load is removed, the body can recover this stored energy. The beam supported on more than two support is called continuous beam. A continuous beam is a beam that rests on the more than two supports because in continuous over intermediate supports bending moments are dependent upon the several supports. Pressure of the liquid limit which helps to the piezometer tubes भनेको gauge pressure. Pressure of liquid measure with the help of piezometer tube भनेको gauge pressure भयो. A piezometer tube measure the pressure of the liquid above the atmospheric pressure, hence it gives the gauge pressure, not absolute or the vacuum pressure. The stability of the dam is checked by the tension at the base, overturning on the wall of the dam, sliding on the wall of the dam, all of the above. किनकि stability of the dam must be checked against the tension at the base, overturning and the sliding. If any of these check fail, the dam may become the unsafe हुन्छ. A flow in which the quantity of the liquid flowing per second is not constant is called the unsteady flow. The flow in which the quantity of the liquid flowing per second is not constant and is called unsteady flow. When the density of the liquid flowing per second change with the time, its flow is unsteady flow. In steady flow, the discharge remains constant. According to the continuous equation, A and B are equal to A2 B2. The equation continues states that the discharge is constant for incompressible flow. Therefore, the product of area and velocity remain constant. A and B are equal to A2 B2. Questionless soil are the sand bio. Cohesionless soil have the little or no cohesive strength because of the particle. Sand is best example because its strength mainly depend upon the friction boy. अर्को छ the property of the soil which is of the great importance of finding settlement of the structure भनेको consolidation. Settlement of the structure in which mainly related to the consolidation behavior of the soil, especially in the saturated fine grain soil. The ratio of the unit weight of the soil to that of water भनेको specific gravity. Specific gravity of the solid is the ratio of the unit weight of the solid to the unit weight of the water. It is important in the index property of the soil mechanics. The water content ratio of the soil is defined as the water content of the soil is defined as the weight of the water to the weight of the solid, weight of the water to the weight of the solid, weight of the water to the weight of the solid. Water content of the solid is defined as the ratio of the weight of the water to the weight of the dry soil solid. It is usually expressed in percentage by the design of the retaining wall. Assume that the retained earth is dry हुने भयो, is free from moisture, is not cohesive, all of the above हुने भयो. In simple retaining wall design, the blackfill of the soil is generally assumed dry, free from moisture, non-cohesive. This assumption make earth pressure calculation easier भनेर भन्न सक्यो. Dimension of the beam need to be changed if the shear stress is more than 20 kg per centimeter square. Dimension of the beam is need to be changed if shear stress is more than 20 kg per centimeter square. If the shear stress of the beam exceed the permissible value, the beam selection must be modified. In the given option, the limiting value is taken as 20 kg per centimeter square. Thickened part of the flat slab over the supporting column is technically known as drop panel. The thickened portion of the flat slab around the supporting column is called drop panel. It reduces the negative bending moment and punching shear near to the column. The effective span of the simply supported slab भनेको clear distance between the inner face and the wall plus twice of the thickness of the wall. For the simply supported slab, the effective span is generally lesser than the center to center distance of the supports and clear span plus effective depth. This is used in the design calculation. The maximum determining capacity of the soil is that hard rock हुन्छ. Hard rock has highest bearing capacity because it is compact, strong, almost incompressible and can safely carry the heavy load with the little settlement. When the heavy structural load from the column are required to be transferred to the soil of the low bearing capacity, the most economical foundation, the grillless foundation. Grillless foundation is an economical foundation when the heavy columns load have to be transferred to the soil of the low bearing capacity. It is spread concentrated load over the longer area भयो. Which of the following is the foundation used for the weaker soil? Weaker soil मा चाहिँ column footing, grillless footing अनि raft footing तीनटै गर्न सकिन्छ. The temporary structure are constructed in the river for excluding the water from the given site to enable the building operation to be performed on the dry surface भनेको coffer dam. Coffer dam is a temporary water excluding structure constructed in the river or water body. It allows the foundation or the other construction work to be done on the dry surface. The portion of the soil through which the lateral movement of the water takes place भनेको zone of saturation. Zone of saturation is the soil below with the water tables where all void are filled with the water. Groundwater movement generally occurs through this saturated zone भयो. Runoff of the water which flow in river. Runoff is the part of the rainfall that flow over the ground surface and reaches to the stream flow of the river. It occurs after losses, the infiltration and evaporation are satisfied. The growth of the population may be conveniently represent the logistic curve. Population growth is conventionally represented by the logistic curve because the growth is slow at the beginning and rapid at the middle and slow near to the saturation point. Dissolved impurity consists of the iron. Dissolved impurity are the substance present in the water which is dissolved from. Iron is commonly dissolved impurities while the silt is suspended and bacteria, fungi are the living suspension impurities. The amount of the water required to fill up the more space on the soil by replacing the all air held pore space is known as the saturation capacity. Saturation capacity is the amount of the water required to fill the all pore space of the soil completely. By replacing the air at this stage, the soil is fully saturated. The infertility of the soil in waterlogged area is due to inhabiting activity of the soil bacteria, growth of weeds, increasing of the harmful salt, all of the above भयो. Waterlogging reduces the soil aeration, increase the weeds, weed and the causes the accumulation on the harmful salt. This condition reduces bacterial activity and the makes soil infertile. The water content at each plant can no longer extract sufficient water from the soil for its growth is called permanent wilting point. The water content at which the plant can no longer extract sufficient from the water from the soil from its growth is called permanent wilting point. Permanent wilting point is the point of the moisture content at which plant cannot extract enough water from the soil. Below that point, plant wilting permanently even if the humid atmosphere. The duty of the irrigation of the water will be less if water supply required is more. Duty of the water is the water in the area irrigated by the unit discharge of the irrigation water. If the water required is more, the same discharge irrigates less area, so duty become less. Depth of root zone 90 भनेको राइसको हुने गर्छ. The sequence of the survey in the road project भनेको topographic, reconnaissance, preliminary and detail. सुरुमा topographic अनि reconnaissance अनि preliminary and detail. The main objective of providing camber भनेको to make the road surface impervious, to drain off the rainwater from the road as quickly as possible. To drain off the rainwater from the road surface as quickly as possible. Camber is the transfer slope provided at the road surface. Its main purpose is to drain the water quickly from the carriages and prevent from water stagnation. Base course of the road is built with the broken stone aggregate. Base course of the road is built with the broken stone aggregate. The base course must be strong enough to distribute the wheel load to the lower layer. Therefore, it is commonly constructed with the broken stone aggregate. The camber recommended for the water-bound macadam of the road भनेको चाहिँ के हो भने 1:30 to 1:48. The camber recommended for the water-bound macadam of the road भनेको 1:30 to 1:48. The water-bound macadam road requires a suitable cross slope for the drainage. The recommended camber for WBM road भनेको generally 1:30 to 1:48. While preparing the detailed estimate, dimension should not be measured in the correct depth 0.01 meter. Area should be measured to correct depth 0.01 square meter, and volume should be measured in the correct of 0.01 cubic meter. All of the above. In detail estimate, measurement must be taken while proper accuracy. Length, area, and the volume measured to their prescribed accuracy, so it gives the statement are correct. For the 12 mm thick cement plastering 1:6 100 square big new work, the quantity of the cement required भनेको 0.274. Weight volume भनेको 100 into 0.2 1.2 meter cube. 8.25% uneven risk भनेको 1.50. 30% dry volume 1.3 भनेको 1.95 अनि सिमेन्ट meter 1:6 1.95 into 1/7 0.278 भनेको 0.274. The minimum width of the safety tank is taken as 75 centimeter. The minimum width of the safety tank is generally taken as 75 centimeters. It provides the sufficient space for the sewage flow and sufficient cleaning. The measurement is not made for the square meter in case of RC 6 DPC गरिन्छ, फमक गरिन्छ, कंक्रीट जाफरी गरिन्छ, RC 6 DPC फमक and concrete जाफरी are made in square meter. RC 6 is not measured simply as a square meter in this contest. Final technical authority of the project lies with chief engineer. Right? The chief engineer is the highest technical authority to the project organization. Final technical approval of the major engineering decisions lie with the chief engineer. The performance of the specific task in CPM भनेको activity भयो. CPM activity is the specific task operation consume time and resource भयो. त्यसपछि activity are arranged in the sequence to prepare the project भयो. Milestone chart भनेको इन्डिटर्मिनेसन देखाउँदैन, डिले पनि देखाउँदैन, point is ahead is schedules if any पनि देखाउँदैन, केही पनि देखाउँदैन. Milestone chart are only important in the stage of the key target date of the project. It does not show the indeterminacy delay or the progress relations like the network chart. Military organization is known as line organization. Military organization is also known as line organization. In this system, authority is flow directly from the top level to the lower level through the clear chain of the command. Top layer बाट middle level to the clear chains of the command. यसरी हामीले चाहिँ के भन्न सक्यौं 157 को सहारा गऱ्यौं.